The Fujicast is an independent Loading Zone production.
Thursday, 28th of May. But before I press the theme tune, at the end of yesterday's show, Breezy, Kev, breezed in, didn't she, and decided to take over a little. Kev, you've got a talking dog.
Yeah, well, doesn't everybody's dog talk?
No, not like that. Not like Breezy. Have you thought about going on tour at all with her?
She's very clever.
Can you imagine that? Simon Cowell loves all the dog acts on Britain's Got Talent. I'm telling you, Kev, you'd be in the final. Never mind all the cute dancing kids and the acrobatic stuff. You've got a talking whippet. Have a This is when we sort of figuratively speaking turned the microphones off yesterday. This is Kev's conversation with Breezy.
Come on, what's your name?
She really does talk. What's the weather going to be, Breezy? Really? With a bit of rain? Oh. No. Right.
Breezy.
Tell me what it's like living with Mullins. Oh. She's got a lot to say about living with you. Oh, sorry. Are you pulling her ears?
Long question.
Are you pulling her ears to get this or something?
No. Breezy, shush. Who's your favourite? Rosa.
The Fujicast.
So, Kev, what do you think? Is your gold mine sitting on the couch in the form of talking Breezy?
Yeah, it looks like it. Anybody want to buy a camera? Giving up, I'm off. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Go, yeah. She was so cute. I've never heard Breezy talk before.
In the whippet.
No, yeah.
I thought everybody's dog talked.
No. And they bark, but your one's got, I mean, they say about Italians, I mean, Italian is a lovely, lovely language, isn't it? Because it sings and it's beautiful, and that reminds me of Breezy.
I'm going to teach Monty to speak next.
What do you think Monty would do?
He'll probably just say, "Give me some food. Give me some food."
Very good. All right, welcome to the Fujicast. Thursday, here we are. Before we go any further, I'd like to do a little mention for the Breakaway Fujicast at 4 Facebook group, which is run by hero of the show, Neil Ford. I tell you what, Kev, we do need to get some buttons, as they're called in the States, or badges, as they're called here. I mean, you can't buy them, you earn them. You can wear them as pride on your best suit, you know. Something like friend of the show, which is like your first level. Joker of the show, for the best humorous males. We could have a Colonel Tom of the show if you've really pulled it out the bag. Do you think that's a good idea? Badges.
You can also have humorous females, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, I wasn't suggesting
you said humorous males.
No, I meant mails as in emails, you turnip.
Oh. I thought you were going to get us in a load of trouble.
No. I meant as in MAIL. That's what I meant. Anyway, yes, so mentioned for the Fujicast at 4 Facebook group, which was Kev's idea, but I've got to admit, both of us have been that tantamount to useless taking part in it, haven't we, really?
Well, I've done nothing.
What? You can explain what it was, because it was your idea.
Well, the idea was that you would take a picture of whatever was in front of you at 4 p.m. every day, and then kind of there would be like this running competition of who could keep it up. It doesn't have to be art. It doesn't have to be on a camera. It could be on your phone. But yes, I did it. I think I did it for, well, I definitely did it for at least once, possibly twice.
Once. Yeah. So we altered it slightly. I think we interfered, and then we went on our way again. We interfered with it. We said, now, instead of just the first thing that you take a picture of at 4, you had a window of 1 hour wherever you were in the world at the hour of 4 p.m. to take and make your pictures.
It's like a cottage industry. We've got all sorts of things popping up. We've got the Fujicast at 4, we've got the locked in Zoomcast. They're doing all kinds of other things over there now. All kinds of things have sprung up.
I know. And we sort of sit in the middle and watch it.
Leaving us to it, yeah.
Well, I think it's nice. I like all those ideas. So, go take part in it. It's Fujicast at 4. It is, and that's the numerical 4. And it's a kind of a breakaway Facebook group. There's all the friends of the Facebook, our Fujicast Facebook family in there. So it's a great place to be. Go see it. So... the Fuji Guys channel on YouTube had a brilliant webcam tutorial. You sent it to me this morning, turning an X-series compatible camera into a webcam camera using a USB cable and some new Fujifilm X webcam software. And I was really, really excited about it, Kev. And then the penny dropped that it's only for you lot.
Computers.
Yeah, proper computer. For those that use... Sorry, I was talking over you. You couldn't hear him then. Only those that use Windows.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to Andreas about it this morning. Andreas, Fujifilm marketing manager at Fujifilm, he had no idea this was coming, by the way. So he wasn't he couldn't mention it on the Q&A last week because he just didn't know. He got an email yesterday. So Fujifilm, the engineers in there, because they've been locked down also in Tokyo, they've spent the time, and I think this is about as proactive as you can possibly get, writing an entire application that allows you to bypass all of the hardware that's typically needed to use a DSLR or mirrorless camera as a webcam, or for your Zoom channels or whatever they call it these days. And so you download the Fujifilm software from the website. It's totally free, of course.
Yeah, it's called Fujifilm X webcam software.
Fujifilm X webcam software. We will link to it, of course. And you plug in the USB. It has to be one of the cameras that supports tethering. Okay, so you're looking at XT3, XT4, GFXs, all that kind of stuff.
I saw some X Pros in there as well, aren't there?
Some of the X Pros, not the XT1 as far as I remember. XT30s, all those kind of things don't support tethering as far as I'm aware. And yes, it's Windows only. And presumably there's a couple of reasons for that. One is that they've had 8 weeks effectively to just sit up and go, wow, look, the world's come to a standstill. What can we do? And they've built an entire system. So I think that's a good thumbs up rather than negative about the fact there's no Mac version. Yeah. And the reason why there's no Mac version is because the Mac ecosystem is much more sandboxed. So it's much more tied down. And so, of course, you can probably do this kind of thing, but I would imagine it would just take a lot longer. But they haven't mentioned anything about a Mac-compatible version of it. No. So it is Windows only. I tested it today. Works really well. And
good for you.
Works really well for me. We are a proper computer.
Do you know, they're having this proper computer debate now in the Facebook group, and I felt I needed to pop in there because I thought, here we go, this is going to be like Mac versus... Well, it is. It's unashamedly a Mac versus Windows debate that they're having in there. It's going to get nasty, I'm telling you, Kev. But I must admit, and you know me, because I've battled with this, I've wanted to try Windows. I've come away from Windows. I do actually have Windows machines in the sound studio here. The playout thing that you get all your little jingly janglies on, like that. You see that comes out of a Windows machine, and some of the sound editing is done in a Windows machine. But I likened it to when I was for a little while in my life almost turning left at the traffic lights and becoming a pilot. It's a bit. It was. I gave it a flying analogy. That there was one particular machine that acted what I think is a bit like a Windows machine. It was cheaper. It looked like it promised more. Yes, you did get a lot more for your money. But when you were holding the control surfaces, you could. It just felt like there was a bolt loose. That any minute it was going to somehow let you down, and that's what I feel like when I'm using Windows machine, and I just can't get around it, Kev.
It's up to you. I'm not getting involved. I use Windows. You use Mac. You're married to Sam. I'm married to Gemma. I like having jeans with rips in them. You probably don't.
No, too old for that, Kev. You can't be wearing. What do you think, Gemma? Is it too old to be wearing those? Isn't it? Yeah, too old, far too old. But I thought, I am hoping it comes out on Mac, and usually stuff does some stage. But I thought the camera setup was pretty good, wasn't it? You turn the drive dial to S for a single shot. It wasn't what I was expecting. And under connection mode, you, as you said, use the USB tether shooting mode, and then you just set your autofocus up, and away you go.
Yeah.
And you can. And the best thing about it, I thought this was really cute. This was when I was getting really excited. Just prior to learning I couldn't use it, was that you can actually choose to use the film simulations.
Yeah. So you can do it in Acros or whatever you so wish, if you so wish. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
but it's not the end of the world if you want to use it in Mac, but you just have to get all the gubbins that come with it, don't you? There's the breakout box. What's it called?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to use it on a Mac, you have to get one of the hardware. I think there's one by Elgato and various other things like that. So it's basically just a HDMI to USB kind of converter thing. So yeah, I mean, there's lots of solutions there. And of course, once everybody goes back to real life, they'll probably not need it so much.
No, although I've got a feeling, I was reading something the other day that said a lot of companies are going to completely change the way that they do business in terms of doing a lot more conferencing and a lot more remote working. It's taught people a lot of lessons on how to work effectively without having to be in the office all the time.
Yeah, honestly, I was talking to somebody who's his job is selling office space effectively, but high end, like 10-story buildings in Canary Wharf and stuff. And he was saying that their industry's in a lot of trouble because this has proved to a lot of big businesses that actually they can operate on a much lower overheads.
Oh yeah.
Of course, you're always going to need properties and stuff because whilst we're in this enforced situation, would people work as diligently and as properly if it wasn't enforced? Are they going to just go and mow the lawn, for example, instead of do their work? But I think there'll be a lot of long term, good things and bad things will come from this long term for sure. And I think this is like generational rather than next year.
Do you? All right. Well, I think I agree with you on that one. But I think the working environment will change an awful lot over the next couple of years. Right. Here's one from. Oh no, this one's for you actually, Kevin, from Martin Ryder. Question about the build quality of the Fuji cameras, and this is probably more for Kev, since I've seen the state of his cameras on Instagram. I've now had an X Pro 1, X Pro 2, XT2, X100T, and now my pride and joy is an X Pro 3. I use these cameras like a Trojan. Use, abuse, throw them in a camera bag with almost as little regard for dividers as Kev. And every single camera works to this day. I didn't think they would ever hold up to the beatings my Canons got, but they do. Every scratch carries a story. And I wonder if that's how you feel about your cameras, Kev.
Not really. They are very battered and bruised.
They are.
Bad. I mean, they got a few scratches on them, but no, I don't recall whether. Apart from my X70, which obviously had a very horrible journey being dragged along the pavement through the car door.
What happened there?
I was at a wedding and I'd been shooting with my X70. It was on a strap. I put it in my jacket pocket and got in the car driving from the church. I could hear this kind of scraping on the floor.
Oh, no.
And I thought, what's that? And I glanced down and I saw the camera strap hanging, hanging out of the car door. X70 being dragged along like a beer can on the back of a bride's new vehicle. So obviously I stopped it. It's fine. Everything works. Still works. Just a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I smashed the screen on my one of my XT3s last year at the Brighton Marathon when somebody jumped across to run across the road in front of the runners. They took my camera with them and bang on the floor, and the screen shattered. But it still works, a dream, and I haven't bothered repairing it because I stuck it together with sellotape, and the camera works just fine.
I think if I wasn't a professional, and I'm not saying that all professionals should have a laissez-faire relationship with their cameras, if that's the right term, I'd probably be a little bit more conscious and cautious of it. But I'm not.
But you literally
they basically get recycled every kind of 18 months or so. So I'm usually moving on.
So you're quite nonchalant about it. You do throw them in a bag, though, don't you?
Yeah, because I hate dividers. I don't see the point in dividers.
What is this thing with dividers? Why don't you like them? What is this problem you have with dividers, Kev?
Well, I just don't see the point in it. Why? I really don't see the point. It's more difficult to get lenses out, and I know that you even write numbers and have them all faced up the right way and things like that. And I'm just like, just grab them. Just grab it, stick it on the camera, put it back in the camera, sling it over your shoulders, get in the car and go home.
You're like a proper VW driver, you are, with a split screen from, 58. I did that YouTube film, and it had a VW in it. I was talking about the X Pro 3, I think, and I based it around a VW and this sort of love of classic shape. And the VW that we had on the shoot I called it rust, and he said, "That's not rust, that's patina." And they love them a little bit beaten up and a bit scratched. And as Martin Ryder had said, every scratch tells a story. Right, what have we got? Hi Kev, hi Neil. Thanks for your fantastic podcast and complimentary Facebook page. Ace work by Kev on the Ministry of Shadows web as well. I'm lucky enough not to have to gain a living from photography, and I'm currently working from home, now listening to your podcast first thing in the morning at my desk rather than on the commute. He has a question of printing, some dilemmas. Thinking about the output from the camera and its intent, I have a few points of discussion on the subject of output intent, especially printing. I'm posing this as a discussion subject for Kev. Currently, unless it's for pro use, I'm beginning to think that using a printer, I have a nice Canon Pro 100S, prints beautifully, but means that I need to invest time to keep it in tip-top shape. And this sometimes causes a certain level of consternation and the inventing of new swear words. So, is it worth printing at home at all, or should I do everything by mail order? Digilab, he says, are by the way, fantastic. So, obviously, already has been, Digital Lab rather, it already has been sort of dipping his toes in there.
Yeah, I mean, I send mine. All my stuff goes off. Even all the commercial stuff goes off. I don't have a printer in the office. I have an office printer for printing letters and things. Yeah. And at home, I have to be said, all of the little snaps that I do on my phone. There's an app called Free Prints. I think it's not free. You pay for the postage, but we just sent off 75 yesterday.
What?
Off they go. They go off somewhere. I don't know where they come from, but about 2 weeks later, you get your 75 6x4s, and it costs £2.99. Perfect. Blimey. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, but what's the print actually like? I mean, sometimes you take them into
no, it's good.
Well-known large supermarkets, and they come out in black and white, so like green and white.
It's good. It's fine.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not, it's just for sticking on the walls, sticking on the fridges and things like that. But yeah, we've done it. I went through Rosa's phone yesterday and ordered all of hers. That's it. I mean, I wouldn't print at home. Honestly, the return on investment for a printer at home, I think, is negligible, unless you're doing fine art printing and you need control of it yourself. But anything commercial goes to Digital Lab. Anything not commercial that I'm doing from my phone goes off to Free Prints. And all my albums, my wedding albums, they're all printed by Jorgensen Albums.
They do the whole lot, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah, this question was from Adrian Japp, by the way, and he did ask, do you guys print at all? So there's your answer. No, a big fat no on that one. Mm-hmm. I did, and I can never, I seem to get to a stage where they just get banding, and I've never kept a printer for more than a couple of years without it, or maybe even a year without it suddenly starting to band, and I can never work out why. So
some people really enjoy it. They see it as the final step, and if it's part of your enjoyment of it, then of course do it, and get your calibration system sorted. But if it's not, then I think it's a lot cheaper just to send it off.
Yeah. Paul Marshall, thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you, Neil, for these daily podcasts. You've given us something to look forward to on a daily basis to get our Fuji photography fix. You've been open and honest, shared heartwarming stories, and have truly entertained us. Some amazing guests as well. Thank you very much, Paul. Very kind of you. So, question. I love taking photos of my wife and young family. It challenges me in so many ways, and hopefully they'll appreciate the memories that I'm capturing. Although my wife is great and takes photos and videos of us, stroke me with the kids, I'd love to have more professional photos with me in them. We do support local photographers and have family photo shoots on occasions, but of course these can't be weekly or monthly. Any advice or tips for getting in the frame with them without staging photos and losing key moments? Using one of my proper Fuji cameras. Paul in Jersey in the Channel Islands.
Well, I'd say that if you want it to be candid and you want to be in it, the answer is
no.
I can't think of any way. Unless you just film yourself and then take stills. No, I can't think of any reasonable way of doing that. I haven't hardly any pictures, I have to say.
Do you do the timer ones?
Yeah, sometimes. If we're doing a little portrait or something, or I'll just stretch my hand out in front and we'll do a grip and grin when we're up the field or something like that. Yeah. But the timer, the 10 seconds or 30 seconds option you've got for more contrived pictures, but for candid stuff, that's going to be a real challenge.
Are you? I think you already answered this question just a moment ago, but you're not in many of the family photos, are you?
Not really. No. Sadly, I mean, Rosa does take more pictures nowadays, so she tries to include me. So that's nice. But of course, I am in pictures. I'm only saying that I'm in pictures that the rest of the family take on their phones and stuff.
Yeah.
There's plenty of those. But the more I don't know, ones that will be around for a long time, less so.
Yeah. Ali Stewart, hi Kev, hi Neil. Oh, Ali, friend of the show, nipping in there again. I bet you're both looking forward to the day when the Fujicast Dilly, I think you meant daily, goes back to weekly. Well, it is. It's going back on the 8th. 8th of June. I shall miss hearing all the commotion in the background. And well, you heard that today with Breezy. Can you tell me, this one's probably for Kev, do different camera brands make Lightroom presets behave differently?
Yes, is the short answer, and the medium answer is yes, because they use different kind of calibration profiles. So when you go into Lightroom, regardless of the third-party presets, but if you go into Lightroom and you look at the profile panel on the top right-hand side, you'll see you've got camera profiles, camera-specific ones. So if you're using Fujifilm, you'll see, Acros, Astia, all of those standard ones, classic chrome. If you're using Canon, I think you see things like camera faithful, camera neutral. Sony probably have their, whatever their film simulations are called. Nikon, I have no idea what they're called, but they will have the same thing.
I can tell you what Nikon are called.
Nikon.
And yeah, so when the if a preset is being built properly, it will, and I'm on about a camera specific preset. So if you remember the VSCO stuff, which they said went out of business, or not out of business, sorry, but they stopped making those things.
I wonder why they did.
Oh, because it's really hard. It's really hard to make those profiles on a camera specific, sensor specific format. And of course, every time a camera came out, they'd have to do it again.
But they must have been pulling their hair out. Please, Canon, don't do another one. Stop.
Yeah, I guess. And they went totally mobile. I mean, they're still a very good company, still doing very well. So they did proper presets based on sensors. Which is something I'm actually working on myself, funny enough. But so to answer your question, Ali, they will behave very slightly differently. It might not be that noticeable, to be totally honest with you, but for proper kind of profiling, then it is done on a sensor basis rather than necessarily a camera basis, because some cameras have the same sensors.
James Sauls, finally, today. Hello, if you get time, could you... Oh, this was when we were doing the website one, so it's a webby question, stand by. I wouldn't mind some thoughts on Pixieset. I use them to house my client galleries. Not so long ago, I moved my website to them from a WordPress template. I had no idea what I was doing with WordPress, he says in brackets. Websites are a new venture for Pixieset. The templates look and feel good to me, and my website certainly looks better than it used to. But I wondered if there would be any benefits of a move now to Squarespace, as it seems so popular. And we did a lot of chatting about Squarespace, didn't we? What are your favourite features of Squarespace, and does the blogging side of Squarespace provide features that Pixieset may not? Cheers, guys. Stay safe. James.
I've never used Pixieset.
I wondered if you were going to say that.
I'm guessing Pixieset is similar to Zenfolio in that it's got a very successful, very useful back-end ordering system, and then plugs on a website building system on the front. Yeah. So that it depends on your needs, of course. Now, I still use Zenfolio for all of my back-end galleries. So all my galleries go into Zenfolio, all my expediting, my ordering, everything is done in Zenfolio. I only use either Squarespace or WordPress for the front end. It depends. It really does depend on how much you want to spend, whether this is a full-time thing. I think it is for James, and whether you want everything in one place, which I find would be, I would find much easier. I mean, we have talked about this a lot. It's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. I think for me now, if I was creating a brand new site, I would be going Squarespace route. Yeah. 7.1 is a lot better. It's a lot more friendlier. It's a lot more SEO friendly. Depending on the interface, though, it depends on what you want to do. So, for example, the Fujicast website, I had to do that on WordPress because I wanted the integration with the RSS feed from our podcast provider and various things like that. It's a bit more technical. So, yeah, it does depend on what you want. Pixieset, I've never used it, I'm afraid. Pixieset, I don't know. Sorry.
While we're talking about Squarespace, one thing that I think we may have mentioned was that obviously it's gone from 7 to 7.1 now. So whenever you get a template on Squarespace now, although you look at a template when you purchase it, it's not truly a template that's sort of nailed, is it really? Because you've got as much flexibility. There's not really lots of templates. There's just one, isn't there? Really?
Yeah, there's only one template in Squarespace 7.1. It's just they've set up different look-in starting points for you to choose your own starting point from. But they're all the same template. There's no real concept of templates as such. You can do anything you want. You can do the same thing in 7.1, whereas in 7 you would pick a template, and some of those templates would do something that other templates wouldn't do. Yeah. And that's not the case any longer.
No. So there we go, James. What's your favourite thing about working with Squarespace now? Because you did say, is there a favourite feature?
I just like the fact that it's very simple. It's very, very clean. You can't break it. It's all controlled in one place. The plugins, I'm fed up of plugins being updated every single day. Security issues in WordPress, various things like that. So WordPress is good for some things. Squarespace is good for other things, and vice versa.
And that's it for today. Oh, I do have one question, Kev. Mm-hmm. How's the weight challenge going?
Well,
have you?
That's okay, I think.
Have you been on the beer at all since?
No, I haven't had a drop of alcohol since Sunday night.
Cheese? No cheese?
No cheese. I've been totally vegan since then.
Regular running?
Regular-ish. I have been, put it that way. I've been busy. Today I've had portfolio reviews. I've got this. Later today I'm doing a webinar for Cambrai and cameras. I've got busy.
No time to go running.
No time to go running.
That's true. All right. Well, I think going on the vegan thing of itself has always been pretty successful for you, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it just immediately cuts out loads of stuff without you even noticing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's it. We'll be back for tomorrow's show. Friday show, then Saturday. But Stefani is the guest, isn't he? All right. See you tomorrow then, Kev.
All right. See you. Bye-bye.
The Fujicast is an independent loading zone production.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.